am I? A child, a black male child, wanting to live but not afraid to die, wanting to make my ancestors proud. Who am I? Hope and faith, hope to see a better world, fighting for justice and peace. So tired, hope it will cease. Who am I? Faith that racism will be a thing of the past. No more police brutality. Let's change that mentality into reality. Who am I? Someone aspiring to change the track. No more black on black. That crime is whack. Who am I? Knowledge to understand that all my brothers and sisters did not have to die. They didn't commit any vicious crimes. They were at the wrong place at the wrong time. Who am I? Power to speak out without a doubt. George Floyd, Eric Gardner, Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, and Sean Bell. Do those names ring a bell? Who am I? Just a black male child wanting justice and peace. Who am I? A black male child hoping it will cease. Who am I? A black male child, and that's who I am, a black male child.
For concluding remarks, please welcome the Lieutenant Governor of New York State, Antonio Delgado.
Good afternoon. Who am I? Let's give another round of applause for our poet laureate, Kayden Hern. You know, he's a 9-year-old with an old soul. And I look at my little boys, they're 9, and I look at him and I can't help but be inspired by what's coming up behind us, but also motivated to do all we can to set everything right and to get back to our values and our principles. I want to first and foremost acknowledge obviously our governor, Governor Kathy Hochul, for her leadership and for her commitment to that reset, her commitment to understanding that even before you can get to any set of specific policies, you have to have a moral foundation to build upon. And a lot of the work that we're doing here is meant to reset that. So I want to thank the governor for her leadership. I want to acknowledge the former U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch as well. Of course, Dr. Hazel Dukes for her amazing legacy and leadership, to the president of John Jay, President Mason, and for the staff, as well as to Commissioner Imperial and the team at the Division of Human Rights, and to everybody who is here today. It's incredible to be here with you and to close out this Unity Summit. I do hope that you are feeling inspired. I hope that you are feeling empowered, and I hope more than anything that you are feeling the power of love. The power of love. And I do want to speak a little bit as we close this program out about the power of love. When I was growing up in Schenectady, I can recall a lot of moments where I felt the power of love, be it at home with my family or at church on Sundays, or as I was telling young Kayden, my first love was basketball, so on the basketball courts. But of all the memories growing up as a little boy in New York, in America, the one that really stands out for me when I think about the power of love has to do with the time I spent with my church family for the annual MLK Memorial Observance in Albany. Now, I want to be clear, I don't really have a lot of specific details about that day. I can't tell you the street we marched on. I can't tell you who exactly marched and who didn't. I do remember that it was very, very, very cold that day, and I remember that we walked with my church and my parents and my little brother to the Empire State Plaza, and I remember that as we got very close to the plaza and we walked inside of it, along with hundreds of others, I felt an incredible warmth wash over me. The experience went from bone-chilling to heartwarming in an instant. Something inside of me had been transformed. I felt a certain kind of power in that moment, a certain kind of pride. I was proud of who I was, proud of my community, my family, our ancestry, and proud to be an American. At the time, I couldn't quite put my finger on the source of the power, but now, older with years behind me, I look back and I know that the warmth was so special because it was emanating from deep, abiding, unconditional love. And what I had experienced, that cold to hot transformation, was the transformative power of love. Dr. King was certain of this power. His unflinching, radical commitment to nonviolence was sourced in this power. As he once said, nonviolence is absolute commitment to the way of love. Love is not emotional bosh. It is not empty sentimentalism. He continues, it is the active outpouring of one's whole being into the being of another. In his final speech, I've been to the mountaintop, Dr. King acknowledges that, like anyone, he would like to live a long life, and that longevity certainly has its place. However, he was no longer concerned with that, because, as he put it, he had made it up to the mountain and had seen the promised land. This begs the question, what did he see? Obviously, there was still much work to do on matters of equality. And still today, there is much work to do. So what did he see? I believe what he saw was the transformative power of love. Not necessarily a sweeping nationwide love that he could point to directly, but certainly up and close and personal through his day-to-day work with the people. It's a story of when Dr. King was marching in Chicago and a white woman ran up to him screaming and spit in his face. And he stopped and he looked at her and he said, "You're too beautiful to be so ugly." And he smiled. And he kept on marching. Not long after that, she chased him down, apologized, and acknowledged that she didn't know what came over her. Her transformation was born of Dr. King's love. And in that moment, he saw the promised land. In that moment, he had been to the mountaintop. I imagine he bottled these moments up with an eye towards what might be for America and the world over. This, as we gather here today for this Unity Summit, is the power we need to tap into in every facet of life. We all know that we are living in a time where extremism, violence, and hate in all forms are on the rise, be it anti-Jewish, anti-black, anti-Asian, anti-gay, anti-truth. The climate we are in right now is toxic. Folks are living on the edge, trapped in echo chambers of misinformation and manipulation. There's a nastiness and a vitriolic hostility permeating throughout our public discourse. Lying and being blatantly dishonest no longer seem to carry the same moral consequences as they once did. There's a growing pessimism and cynicism that is making us less compassionate and less understanding of one another. We are growing more rigid and hardened in our respective points of view. Essential democratic norms like mutual tolerance and restraint have withered away, only to be replaced by bursts of outrage and deadly violence. Having a different political view from your fellow American now apparently makes you mortal enemies. Doesn't help that a lot of folks who call themselves leaders are spewing hate and conspiracy theories and playing on the fears of America's evolution into a spectacular multiracial, multicultural democracy, instead of doing the important work of elevating our collective consciousness to see ourselves in each other, to help us realize that we are in fact all one. We need to step back and ask ourselves, what is the end game here? We need to be more intentional with how we engage with each other and how we communicate. We need to listen, truly listen before we rush to judgment, and be committed to finding common ground in the name of our shared human dignity. None of us, not one, is perfect, and all of us have the capacity to change, to heed our better angels. And we should remember that it takes a whole lot more energy, a whole lot more, to hate than it does to love. Another great man, Nelson Mandela, once said, "No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite." We need to get back to rebuilding not just things, whether it's bridges and roads, but rebuilding people. People need to be inspired to unite rather than pushed to divide. And we cannot allow ourselves to be divided. We cannot allow demagogues and flamethrowers to scapegoat certain communities in order to distract the great many of people, be they black, be they brown, be they white, from the reality that our suffering is shared and that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Facts and truth need to matter. Knowing our history needs to matter. The normalization of conspiracy theories cannot be permitted to persist. And this work must be cultivated across the state, from the ground up, in a systematic fashion. We must create spaces for difficult conversations and hard truths, where it is safe to be mistaken or acknowledge one's own fault, where love is at the center of the work being done. As Lieutenant Governor, I'm honored to serve as the head of the newly formed statewide Hate and Bias Prevention Unit within the Division of Human Rights. We are committed to leading public education and outreach efforts and mobilizing to support communities when hate-driven incidents occurred, and doing the important work of building bridges through communication before these incidents even occur. Today marks the beginning as we build a system to support our shared commitments to each other in a meaningful way, a system to combat hatred and bigotry and swiftly respond if issues arise. With these 10 regional councils, made up of community leaders and human rights activists and educators and clergy and activists spread across the state, we are cultivating compassion and empowering empathy. And we're intentional about it. It's not going to just happen on its own, not in the climate that we're in today. These councils will help us identify regional trends and priorities, empower communities to stand against hate and bias, prevent and respond to hate and bias incidents, and support local individuals and communities as they heal from the trauma of hate and discrimination. The first regional council meeting will be held on May 22nd, with additional meetings taking place across New York throughout the summer. We are working with all New Yorkers from all backgrounds and experiences to help us move our state forward. This is who we are as New Yorkers. Make no mistake about it. This is who we are as New Yorkers. New York has long been at the forefront of progress in this country, from women's right to vote, the right to choose, to gay marriage, to gun reform, to the founding of the NAACP, to the labor movement, to the environmental movement, ahead of the national curve. New York has always been a leader in times of trouble, always been a beacon of hope and light in times of peril and darkness. This is who we are. We love New York because New York loves people, all people. The epicenter of multiculturalism, of what it means to be multi-religious and multi-ethnic, the epicenter of tolerance and acceptance, of progress, of our collective effort to perfect our union. And New York will continue to stand as a beacon of hope, unity, and love. We will show what is possible when you lead with love. I believe in every fiber of my being that love conquers all. Hate may certainly amass power, but it can never be great. To be great, one must be good. And to be good, one must love. For only love can lead to kindness, compassion, decency, honesty, mutual respect, and understanding. And now, more than ever, we need to love. Do not be dispirited. Do not be deterred. Do not get yourself down. Lift yourself up. Stand on the shoulders of those giants who came before you, who breathed life into the very cause we all carry to this day. And love. Love hard. And in closing, I want to just share another quote from someone who by now you probably know is a personal hero, Dr. King. And I think it's an important one to conclude on. Dr. King once said, quote, "Oceans of history are made turbulent by the ever-rising tides of hate. History is cluttered with the wreckage of nations and individuals that pursue this self-defeating path of hate. Love is the ultimate force that makes for the saving choice of life and good against the damning choice of death and evil. Therefore, the first hope in our inventory must be the hope that love is going to have the last word. New York, let's make it our mission to make sure that love does indeed have the last word. I love you all. God bless you all. And now, to close out this program, I'd like to welcome Sing Harlem. Thank you.
And of two. Hello, can you hear me? And a very pleasant good afternoon. Hello, everybody. Hi. We are Vi Higginson Sing Harlem Choir. Let the music, our history, and our culture seep into your system. Clap your hands like this. Everybody, clap your hands. Oh, your love is lifting me higher. Sing along, you know it. Than I've ever been lifted before. So keep it up, quench my desire. I'll be at your side forevermore. Hey, your love keeps on lifting me higher. Your love keeps lifting me higher. Now once I was downhearted. Disappointment, it was my closest friend. But then you came, soon it departed. Then it never showed its face again. Hey, your love keeps on lifting me higher. Hey, your love keeps lifting me. Listen, hey, your love, hey, your love, oh, your love, hey, your love, hey, your love, your love, your love, your love, your your love, your love, your love, your love. Say higher, just a little bit higher, just a little bit higher. Clap it us, just a little bit higher. Oh, round and around and oh, higher, oh, higher, oh, higher. Your love lifting me, yeah, keeps on lifting me higher and higher, higher.
All right, y'all. Come on, y'all. Clap your hands. Woo-hoo, yeah. Yeah. I want to talk to y'all.
People keep on learning. Soldiers keep on warring. World keep on turning, 'cause it won't be too long. Hey. Powers keep on lying, while our people, they keep on dying. World, keep on turning, 'cause it won't be too long. No, it won't take my breath. Hey. I'm so darn glad you let me try it again, 'cause my last time on earth I lived a whole lot of sin. I'm so glad that I know more than I knew back then. Gonna keep on trying till I reach my highest ground. Hey. Woo. Preachers keep on preaching. Teachers keep on teaching. World, keep on turning, 'cause it won't be too long. Hey, I got another one. Come on. All right. This one goes. Lovers keep on loving. Believers keep on believing. Oh, sleepers, won't you stop sleeping? 'Cause it won't be too long. No, it won't take my word. I'm so darn glad you let me try it again. 'Cause my last time on earth I lived a whole lot of sin. I'm so glad that I know more than I knew back then. Gonna keep on trying till I reach my highest ground. Yeah, till I reach my highest ground. No one's gonna turn me down till I reach my highest ground. 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 All right, y'all. My mama says we cannot go anywhere with singing this final song. So I want everybody to stand up to your feet right now. Come on, we're gonna take you to church a minute. Clap your hands like this. Everybody stand. Clap your hands like this. Ooh, clap your hands like this. Sing along. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, turn them quiet mics up. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Can we get the house lights? I want to see my crowd. Turn the house lights on. I need them house lights on. Clap your hands like this. Now, when I count to 3, if you were in my church, we would say, I want you to make your hands sing. A 1, You know what that means. Two. A 1, 2, 3. Make them up. Hey. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, this little, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Listen, I want you to sing with me. This little light of mine, your turn. That's right. Yeah, this little light of mine, your turn. Yeah, this little light of mine, yeah. Listen, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it Listen right here. 1, 2, ready. I got a feeling everything gonna be alright. I got a feeling everything gonna be alright. I got a feeling everything gonna be alright. Be alright. Be alright. Be alright. Gonna be alright. Listen. I've got a very good feeling way deep down in my heart. Yeah. If you think it will be all right, it will be. I'm here to tell you it's gonna be all right.